Hi, I'm Joe Bird. I'm with LambtonShield.com, and this is our video magazine, The Wrap. We'd like to thank everybody for coming out to view us today. And we have a lot in store, a lot of good stuff in store that we're going to cover. JD Booth recently sat down with Donna Mathewson, who is the president of the Sarnia-Lambton Real Estate Board, and he had the opportunity to ask her what's in store for the local real estate market in 2012.
For 2012, I think we're going to see a lot of the same of what we did in 2011, which was a nice, balanced, steady growth. We're seeing on average anywhere between 3% and 6% increases, which is fantastic. Probably 10 months out of 12 months last year, we did better than what we did in 2010 on a month-per-month basis. So I think we're going to see that again this year. This year has already started off really well. Both January and February topped our 5-year averages. So right now we're sitting with a combined total for those first 2 months of higher than what we've had definitely in the last 2 years. It's good to focus on, we're selling more houses in the sense of that 3 to 6%, and not focus so much on, we keep hearing volume numbers. Volume numbers are really skewed by what has sold in any particular month. If we have way more houses that have sold over 500,000 in one particular month and less houses that have sold, say, under 100,000, then that volume number could be skewed dramatically. So it's better to focus on the amount of units that we've sold, which really shows a nice steady increase.
Okay. Back in 2000, 2008 was probably one of the strongest years.
Yeah, 2007 and then into the first part of 2008, and then we started to decline in the latter part of 2008.
Are we back to where it was, or is that?
No, and that's okay because 2007 was our peak. You know, and we all know that real estate is cyclical, and if you look at real estate historically, every 7 to 10 years we have peaks and valleys. The valleys never go down as they did in the previous section, in the previous dip, but there's always a peak and a valley. So 2007 was our peak, so we have to have what's called a market correction. We can't just keep going up forever because it's not healthy for our economy. So in 2007 we were at that peak, and as well as at the beginning of 2008. We're not quite back to where we were 4 years ago, but we're pretty close.
Are we back to yet, are we in a seller's market or a buyer's market?
Depends on what price range you're looking in. Right now, I actually just looked at the stats because I knew that you were coming in today for this month. We just got them out for February. And for February, this has been the same though for the last 12 months consistently. What's driving the market right now is that $100,000 to $150,000 price range, all the way up to $200,000. So right now, for these last couple of months when I was looking at it, about 40% of the listings that we had, which was 52 of them for last month, 40% sold between $100,000 and $200,000. Really hot price range. So if you're looking at a house in that price range because there's more competition and because they're moving better, then you might see some better increases in home prices. Over $300,000, for instance, isn't moving as quickly as what under $200,000 is. So it depends on the price point that you're looking in, whether it's a seller's market or a buyer's market. It may be considered to be more of a buyer's market over that $300,000 price range because there just isn't as many buyers that are looking.
And of course, the reality is that there is no one market. It depends on the area, and location is a prime consideration.
Absolutely, that's for sure.
All right. What can someone who is looking at either changing their house or getting into the market this year, what should the first thing they do to prepare for
Good question, really good question. Everybody is watching these home shows now. They're so popular. Most of them I haven't seen, but I get people who come up to us every day and say that they saw this. We go in to see sellers now, and they're already somewhat educated on what they need to do because they're watching these home seller shows. Most of them are correct. Condition sells. if you're competing with other people, if you're in a market, if you're, say you're in that above $250,000, $300,000 price range, and there is just less people that are looking for a house in that range, then you need to make sure that your house is going to show better and be in better condition than anyone else. So it's your basic things. We have a lot of people now who are renting storage units who make sure to declutter their house, so to speak. They get anything that's not necessary out to make their house nice and crisp and clean. Painting and doing touch-ups is huge. You know, somebody comes in and it's a feeling. Buying a house starts out to be factual because the people sit down and figure out what they want to have. So they need 3 bedrooms or they need 4 bedrooms. They'd like to have 2 bedrooms. They have their need list and their wish list. But then it comes down to when they actually purchase, it's how they feel. It's an emotional response. They're only going to look at the houses that suit their needs anyways because their realtor is going to make sure that they have filtered those things out, and that's their job. And they'll make sure that they're only showing them houses that are going to meet their needs. But they have to want the house. So that's where it comes into play what condition it's in. So if you walk into a house and it feels nice and it's nice and crisp and clean and shows well, then you're going to feel better when you're in it.
Okay. And speaking of realtors, and full disclosure, I am a licensed realtor as well as you as well. Tell me why someone who is in the market should go to a buyer's agent, should engage the services of a licensed realtor rather than go to an open house and make the deal themselves or talk to the listing agent. Why is a buyer representative so important in this market?
Very good question. First and foremost, liability. It's really easy to say that you would like to do it on your own, and there's lots of people that do, and they're very successful at it. When you speak to those people, it's not an easy road. We have to be very well educated in what we do as realtors. We're held out to be professionals in our industry, and that's for a reason. We've taken the courses, we know what the liabilities are. When it comes to doing contracts, we know what clauses to put in there to protect your interest, to make sure that what you're buying is a quality product, and that we have went through the contract and made sure that we've protected everything as far as that goes. Also, your licensed realtor that you're going to hire is going to make sure that the home is one that should suit you. We're supposed to look out for your wants and your needs. You tell us what you want, and that's what we're going to show to you. So there's a lot of reasons to go to a licensed realtor rather than doing it on your own. One of the biggest things that we hear is negotiating. Okay, it sounds like it would be really easy to go and do something on your own, but when you sit down and you're in front of a seller and you have to negotiate, it's very difficult to do face to face. When you have a third party that's doing that for you and someone who's skilled, someone who knows what they're doing on your behalf, at the end of the day you're going to end up way further ahead using a licensed realtor than you are doing it on your own, in my opinion, as the licensed.
Michele Dionne of Sarnia-Rocks.com and also our entertainment editor is going to tell you a little bit about what's going on in Sarnia, what's coming up, and what's happening.
Thanks, Joe, very much, and thanks to LambtonShield.com. It's very exciting for Sarnia Rocks to be a part of LambtonShield.com. We're excited to be able to contribute some of the stuff that's going on in the area. There's a lot going on in Sarnia-Lambton throughout the summer, and we're excited to be a part of bringing that to you. Art Walk is right around the corner. That's in June. That's a big festival in the downtown area, which we can highlight the local talent, which is exciting, the musicians and the artists, and that will lead nicely into a full summer of concerts and wonderful festivals all around our beautiful waterfront. Get additional information on all the events going on in Sarnia-Lambton, both on LambtonShield.com and SarniaRocks.com.
The essence of the show is we have a great gallery space within Lighthouse, and we have been just exploring the idea of God has given us gifts of creativity, but they're not for us solely. They're to gift other people as well. So as we make artwork, do we keep it for ourselves or do we share it with our community? And this Christmas we had a great in-house Christmas show, and we had a wonderful turnout, lots of amazing artwork, and it really was a gift to the viewers, to everyone involved. So we thought, how can we widen the circle of this kind of blessing and gifting, and we thought, why not open it up to the community and let them take some ownership of Lighthouse. It is in the community, and we hope that it would bless them to be able to share their work and be a way for us to just make some deeper community. And for a lot of people, especially artists, being in that process of creating is something that gives them a sense of life and purpose.
Okay. And if people want more information, obviously they can go to lambtonshield.com,
Yes.
or they can contact you directly, and we'll have
Yes.
your email and phone number on there.
Yes.
Great. Natalie, thanks so much.
A few weeks ago, we did a story on a junior baker. It's a downtown Sarnia bakery, and we had the opportunity to speak to one of their owners, Nicole Moore. Can you tell me a little bit about Junior Baker and what made you open the doors?
Junior Baker is a scratch-made bakery. Everything that we do is made fresh from scratch, no additives or preservatives. Everything is gluten-free in the shop, and we opened the doors in 2003 because we weren't able to find jobs, so we decided to open our own business. That being said, it's done very, very well, and we're enjoying it.
Excellent. Can you tell me a little bit about your product line, the type of things that you make here and what you specialize in?
Everything that we do is gluten-free, so we bake every product that we do is without wheat flour. We find that there are a number of people in Sarnia-Lambton and the surrounding counties that have celiac disease or a gluten intolerance, and we just started doing gluten-free products in 2004, and now over the years in 2008 we completely switched the entire bakery over to a gluten-free bakery.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your customer base itself beyond what you just said? Just what's your favorite kind of a customer?
All of them. They're fantastic. I think the more informed they are, the easier it is to help them, because they are conscious about what they're eating and they want to better their life and better their health. So it makes our job a little easier to be able to provide that for them.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about the fact that you are located downtown and how you feel about that?
Downtown has its up and downs. We like being downtown. We like the merchants that are down here. It has a very nice family atmosphere with the merchants, and getting to know them personally is really neat. I find the walk-by traffic downtown is very minimal. There are definitely the occasions like First Friday and things like that that definitely bring more people down, but I like being downtown. It's got the water downtown. It's just a beautiful, nice area to be here.
Okay. Can you tell me how you would define success for Junior Baker and how it's been for you?
Healthy customers is success. Having people enjoy life and be fit and be healthy, that's success. There's no other way.
Not too long ago, J.D. Booth did an interview with a local dental hygienist, Pam Jackson. Pam told us a little bit about her business and what her goals are and what she's doing.
I had the opportunity to open up an independent dental hygiene practice to help support some of the folks in the community who are struggling financially, to help some of the seniors who have retired with no benefits, and to give them an option so that they're getting their teeth taken care of and their cleanings done, whereas there are some folks that aren't going to the dentist because they cannot afford it. And I am thrilled to have opened up my doors to give those folks an opportunity to get their teeth clean, the health of their tissues, especially those that have problems with health as far as diabetes or any heart problems. That makes a big difference if they can go in for regular cleanings, whether it be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and it does help tremendously to keep them on task for teaching them how to take care of their teeth as well.
Now, you mentioned you're an independent practitioner. Tell me the difference between someone who's just become a dental hygienist or has been working a number of years as a dental hygienist and an independent practitioner.
Well, as an independent practitioner, you need to work for a couple of years before you can apply for your independent license. And the government in 2007 in Ontario gave us the right to work independently of the dentist to provide a service to help out our community.
Okay. And I understand you did a special day a few weeks ago, and you might be doing that again. Tell me a little bit about that day that you opened your doors?
Yes, that was very exciting for me because I've always been interested in helping out people, whether it be third world countries or our community. And it's called Gift from the Heart, and it happened on February the 11th, and it's the Saturday before Valentine's Day. And dental hygienists across Ontario opened up their doors to provide that service, a free service for dental hygiene cleanings to folks who absolutely cannot afford to come in. And it was a great experience. I had about 13 customers come through. I had help from 2 other dental hygienists that supported me, another dental hygiene student, my daughter helped me out, and it was an amazing day.
I've also had the opportunity to sit down with J.D. Booth, the publisher and the editor of LambtonShield.com. He was able to share with me a lot about what Lambton Shield is about, what its mission is, and really he explained what sets it apart from the other media organizations that are in this town. J.D., can you tell me a little bit about how Lambton Shield came about?
LambtonShield.com, and we are calling it .com because we want to emphasize in this new age that we're in, the information age, that this publication is online only. But the idea for Lambton Shield actually started in 1852 when Alexander Mackenzie came to Sarnia. He was 30 years old at the time. He had run into a guy named George Brown, who was one of his political compatriots. And George Brown set Alexander Mackenzie up, who was a stonemason at the time, with a press, and he called it the Lambton Shield. And that was 1852. It wasn't until the following year that his political nemesis, Alexander Mackenzie's, a guy by the name of Malcolm Cameron, who was really one of the movers and shakers in Port Sarnia of the day. He was a lumber baron, he made ships, he was very active in community politics. He actually became a member of the Legislative Assembly before Confederation. And he basically was tussling with Alexander Mackenzie, and at the time Alexander Mackenzie was the only media in town with Lambton Shield. So Malcolm Cameron asked his friend in Lanark to move his press, which was called the Lanark Observer, and asked him to move it to Sarnia, and that became what's now the Sarnia Observer or the Observer. So I had read about this story about 15 years ago and decided, you know, that would be a really cool name if you ever wanted to start a publication. And publishing and journalism has been my lifeblood over the years. So it was a natural when I decided to, in the summer of 2010, to launch an online-only local news source, that LambtonShield.com would be the name for it.
Can you tell me a little bit then about the mission of LambtonShield.com? What is it that you'd like to accomplish with this?
Well, I've said before, and I've said it to a number of people, I want to leave this world. I'm not planning on leaving this world anytime soon, but I want to leave this world a better place than it was when I arrived. And we arrived here with our family in 1985. And what I've seen over the years, and particularly in the last few years, is a dramatic reduction in the quantity, and some would say the quality, of local news in the area. So I think LambtonShield.com can better the community, can do so through storytelling. Everybody's got a story, and there's a whole bunch of stories, organizations, people, volunteers, etc., that really are untold. When you look at some of the existing media, the sheer volume of the local news is significantly diminished over time. And so we'd like to turn the tide on that and have more local news. And obviously our financial model is being advertiser supported, because we're always local and always free. And we think that the link to advertisers and our visitors, which are on a steady increase over time, is going to be an attractive place for our advertisers to have their messages showcased in LambtonShield.com.
Okay. Then I know you kind of just touched on it, but can you tell me then what is the main difference between Lambton Shield and the other media that's in town.
Well, one of the differences, one of the key differences, certainly we don't have all the resources that they have, but we're not just got a website that's in addition to the main source of media. The online is all we do, so we can devote our energy and our resources into making that site a better place to go. We also have an unlimited capacity for local news, so that really the only limit is the people that are writing the stories, and we're constantly searching for co-op students at the high school level, journalism interns who may be considering journalism as a career and are actually in university studying to be journalists. There's a lot of organizations that issue media alerts, and we take that information and put it in a form that is going to be attractive to our visitors. So we're getting a lot of very positive feedback as people come to discover LambtonShield.com and then make it a regular part of their viewing day.
Well, that's great. I appreciate your time today, JD. That's JD Booth from LambtonShield.com.
One of the most exciting things in Sarnia that's just happened, as a matter of fact, is the Construction event that took place at Lambton Mall, an event that pitted some 10 teams, including various schools in the area, all of which were linked up with corporate sponsors and engineering firms. The idea was to use non-perishable cans of food to construct what turned out to be remarkably complex and frankly entertaining displays, all with an obvious connection to the sponsors, but employing an extraordinary amount of creativity throughout. Miles Vanny, who was executive director of the Inn of the Good Shepherd, whose food bank will benefit directly from the construction models, was excited about what is bound to be an annual event. He told me that he was impressed by how quickly yet cleanly and precisely the work had been completed by the participating teams. See our story at LambtonShield.com for a full list of the winners. Lambton Kent District School Board Enrichment Coordinator Rosanna Waldron thought that this competition and the opportunity for students to become involved was a perfect fit with what the enrichment program had already been contemplating before learning about construction last fall. We were looking for ways to bring elementary enrichment students together with high school enrichment students, to give the younger students a chance to look at the high school they might attend, and to work on something that's for a good cause, said Waldron. Again, see the complete story about construction in LambtonShield.com.
We're also very excited today to let you know that we have another contributor coming on board who will focus on healthy eating. Each week she's going to contribute some sort of item related to healthy food that's nutritious and economic.
My name's Pam. I know in this day and age it gets harder and harder to cook good, nutritious meals for your family. So what I'm here to do is give you some tips on how to cook economically but still tasty and nutritious meals. Each week I'll be sharing a recipe and ideas on how to shop and how to cook good nutritious meals in Pam's kitchen. If you have ideas that you'd like to submit, please submit them to pam@LambtonShield.com.
And that's the wrap. On behalf of everyone here at LambtonShield.com, I'm Joe Bird, and thank you for watching.